Immanuel Kant Transcendental Idealism. With Kant's claim that the mind of the knower makes an active contribution to experience of objects before us, we are in a better position to understand transcendental idealism. Kant's arguments are designed to show the limitations of our knowledge. The rationalists believed that we could possess metaphysical knowledge about God, souls, substance, and so forth. They believed such knowledge was transcendentally real. Kant argues, however, that we cannot have knowledge of the realm beyond the empirical, that is, transcendental knowledge is ideal, not real for mind like ours. Kant identifies two a priori sources of these constraints, that mind has a receptive capacity or the sensibility, and the mind possesses a conceptual capacity or the understanding. Another way to understand Kant's points here is that it is impossible for us to have any experience of objects that are not in time and space. Furthermore, space and time themselves cannot be perceived directly, so they must be the form by which experience of object is had. A consciousness that apprehends objects directly as they are in themselves and not by means of space and time is possible, God. Kant says as a purely intuitive consciousness, but our apprehension of object is always meditated by the conditions of sensibility. Any discursive or concept using consciousness like ours must apprehend objects as occupying a region of space and persisting for some duration of time.
The problem that Kant points out is that a human association of ideas already presupposes that we can conceive of identical, persistent objects that have regular, predictable, casual behavior. And being able to conceive of objects in this rich sense presupposes that the mind makes several a priori contributions. I must be able to separate the objects from each other in my sensations and from my sensations of myself. I must be able to attribute properties to the objects. I must be able to conceive of an external world with its own course of events that is separate from the stream of perceptions in my consciousness. These components of experience cannot be found in experience because they constitute it. The mind's a priori conceptual contribution to experience can be enumerated by a special set of concepts that makes all other empirical concepts and judgments possible. These concepts cannot be experienced directly. They are only manifest as the form which judgments of objects take. Primary aim is to determine the limits and scope of pure reason. That is, he wants to know what reason alone can determine without the help of the senses or any other faculties. Metaphysicians make grand claims about the nature of reality based on pure reason alone, but these claims often conflict with one another. Furthermore, Kant is prompted by Hume's skepticism to doubt the very possibility of metaphysics.
Like the movie Injustice, it sees Superman's wife and child have been killed. This is where his revenge on the Joker and the people who commit crimes around the world begins, where he used violence on Joker and he killed it. Here comes the question that if Joker did was bad, why did Superman kill too? What was the difference between him and the Joker if he did the same? Where Kant said that if something is bad, everyone who does it should be bad. There are no perceptions of being a superhero or anything. Not only in being bad, but in many aspects of life. That when something is done and saying it was wrong, everyone who do it must be also wrong. A good example is the one in Injustice. Joker became bad because he has been doing the killing since then. So, everyone and superheroes are furious with him.
But when Superman did it, it was okay because he just did it now and he has been a savior for a long time. But Batman turned against Superman because he said if he wanted to be well, he had to do the right thing. No violence, but the process will be used. Even the president has been hit and threatened by Superman, and he wants him to be the one to follow whatever he wants. There is where Batman and the rest of his team are against what Superman wants to happen. Where Superman has his own companions too, Batman wanted the peaceful way.
Eventually, Ra's al Ghul used Superman where there was a robot guard that everyone who broke the law would be killed. But Superman didn't like it, and he opposed it. They opposed it, but as Ra's al Ghul said, it was able to adapt to his environment. Because of this, everything Superman does, the robot also does. And suddenly, Batman and others come to help Superman and carry out their plan. Mr. Terrific has created a device which is like a parallel world portal that allows the same people to go to their world in another world. In another, Superman appeared on the device portal, and here he convinced Superman not to act and think like this. But it was still unconvincing, and suddenly, Superman's parallel world wife came out coming from the portal, and it's pregnant. Here she says that the parallel Superman is not like violent Superman. He realized that this was also not what his real wife wanted to happen, and he accepted his mistakes. It shows here that it took a while before Superman realizes his mistakes, similar to Immanuel Kant's theory of transcendental arguments translated into contemporary terms. The core of this method is interference to the best explanation, the method of postulating unobservable mental mechanisms in order to explain observed behavior.